Hello, welcome and Happy New Year to you all. It's our first Card A Cuppa of 2026. Had to stop and think then, yes, it's definitely 2026. And so we met this morning over at Home Grange. And, sorry, I am sort of sidetracked because I am just double checking that this is going out live, which it is. My sound is off, so that is okay. Good. Right. Today, what should we do? Well, we did some cards, of course. And these are a couple of my samples that these are the samples that I took with me. But I'll share with you quickly the kit. It was sort of lots of little bits. And I'll also share with you the items products that I used to make the kit. So there were an awful lot of stamped and die cut pieces. So lots of flowers, leaves, all sorts of bits and pieces, dots. And this was one stamp, one die, and it cut all of those out at the same time. I'll share that with you. There were some rhinestones. There was a piece of vellum which I had dry embossed, and a piece of Night of Navy along with the base card. So it doesn't sound a lot. The stamping and the die cutting and the poking out took a lot of time, but hey. So that was everything that was in the kit. Lots, as I said, lots of little bits. Knock all these off onto my hand, which means I'll probably lose something, but there you go. Anyway, so those were all the bits that everybody had, along with little bits of paper. And this was the first card that I made. So I didn't use all of these stamped and die cut pieces. I just used a select few and placed them on top of the corresponding image on the embossed paper. So I've kept this very simple, stuck a few of the stamped and die cut pieces inside, and I actually used a different stamp to stamp an image on the front of that envelope. Then I decided, you know what, these white pieces are ideal for colouring. So that's what I did. I coloured some of the leaves, some of the flowers, also coloured the rhinestones. So these were clear rhinestones, but I used an alcohol marker on those too. And rather than placing them on top of the corresponding image, I just sort of made a focal point in the corner. Both of these cards don't have sentiments on, so they can be used for anything. And then I had some leaves and things left over, so I put those on the inside and similarly on the envelope. So everything got decorated. So those were the two ideas that I took with me this morning, and everybody had the option to, well, they could do what they wanted at the end of the day. They didn't have to go exactly with mine. They could colour whatever ones of these that they wanted and stick them on, or not colour them, or whatever. Anyway, so these were the products that I used. Come from Altenew. This is the stamp set. It is just one stamp. It's a 6x6 stamp. So it stamps all of those images at the same time. It's called Zero Waste Flowery Pattern. There are lots of sentiments as well that you can use with it, which you would have to, I think, is there a separate die? Which I didn't get. Actually, no, I did. So I'm here for you, beyond grateful, and I miss hearing your laugh. These ones, that one, that one, that one. There are dies to go with it. This is the die. So again, the die cuts everything out at the same time. Let's see, that way. So that will die cut everything out at the same time, which is quite nice. It makes life very simple. And then say there are 3 dies for those larger sentiments. So that was the die that I used to cut everything out. There's also a corresponding embossing folder. Now these flowers are all flowers that are on here, but they're not in the same position. So it would have, so you actually have to think which way round you want to do things. So you can emboss, plain emboss, you can stamp, die cut, and then you can stick the relevant pieces using non-permanent glue or tape or whatever into the embossing folder and emboss them. But what you can't do is you can't stamp and put it into the embossing folder because they don't line up. I hope that makes sense. So you can stamp, die cut, and then put them in there. And that you'll find here, on here, for example, there are images. So like this image is not on the embossing folder. So you get additional images on here that are not on here. But these two, for example, are that one and that one. You've got this flower's that one. So all the ones that are on here are actually on that stamp set. And obviously on the corresponding die as well. And then there are also a set of stencils that will go with the stamp set. So you can stamp, stencil, and then die cut. It's really up to you how you want to use all these things. So the Altenew, there's various websites here in the UK that you can get them from, or you can get them shipped direct from Altenew. It's really up to you if you like the look of these. I'm not affiliated or anything like that. It's something that I've come to love. A little bit different. So there you go. Anyway, so I was trying to think what I would do this afternoon. Oh, right, I was going to show you this. And this particular one is exactly the same as this. But I didn't stamp the image. I simply die cut it, and then using non-permanent tape, I then place them in the embossing folder. So I don't know if you can see. So these are actually all embossed. I was going to do that originally for the Card A Cuppa, and then I thought, nah, because all of these have to be done individually or put into the embossing folder individually. Well, and that's a labour of love that I was not really quite prepared to go to for everybody at Card A Cuppa. I thought this was a good option and that was a good option. So at the end of the day, we don't have all day to be able to spend colouring and stuff. Anyway, so vellum. You can colour vellum. So I thought I would try that for this afternoon's card. So I've already gone ahead. Now when you're colouring vellum, you colour it on the reverse side. So you want to colour it on the debossed. So this has got the indents, which is really handy because it helps you then keep within the lines and things. So I've already done that. I've gone ahead and done that. And I'll show you what that looks like on this. Now I actually coloured the dots as well. They haven't come out as well. But hey ho. So that's what it would look like on the actual card. So I've actually used the darkest of my Stampin blends, which I've had since I was a Stampin' Up demonstrator. Crumbs, that's over a year ago now that I left. So I've used all the darkest ones. So we've got Night of Navy, Azure, Afternoon. There we go. This is them all. It's got Mossy Meadow. Moody Mauve, Petunia Pop, Old Olive, yeah, Zero Afternoon, Night of Navy, Daffodil Delight, and then I've also used Lemon and Lime Twist and Granny Apple Green. So those are all the colours that I used on here. So as I said, I've gone ahead and done that already because it took me a good half an hour just to do it all, and I didn't think you'd really want to sit there and actually watch me doing it. So I've pre-done that. Now, sticking vellum to cardstock is well, it's not tricky. It's just that you can't just put tape and glue anywhere on the vellum because you will be able to see it through. I've yet to find something that doesn't actually show through. If you know of anything and you've used it and tried it and can swear to me that it works great, then please leave a comment and let me know, because I'm sure I'm not the only one who would like to know what to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue behind the dots, actually, more than anything else, because I don't really want to interfere with making a mark or something on the actual images. The dots I'm not so worried about. So I'm just going to put little blobs of glue, as she says. Oh. You don't use it for a day and it decides it's going to seize up. Let's see. You will come out. I can see that there's a little bit of dried glue in there. That's it. Get rid of that. So I'm just going to put them, as I said, on the dots, the bigger ones. Now, if I was putting a sentiment on, I could also add glue behind where the sentiment's going, but I haven't decided on that yet. Much is going to depend on how this looks. That's going to have to do when it comes to putting them on here. At the moment I'm not too worried which way round this is going to go, so I'm just going to centre it on the piece of Night of Navy. And this is one of those things that you need to put enough on because these are all indented, so you need to put enough on so that they will actually stick, but you don't want to put so much on that it will actually sort of squidge out. So that's that. Hopefully that will stay. Now I need to decide which way I want this on my card. Do I want it on that way or that way? Oh, actually I quite like it. That's the way I think I quite like it. So that's how I'm going to do it. Make sure that there's nothing stuck in there. Use my bone folder, and then that's just going to get glued on there. Just a bit of glue all over. Add that. Like so. Caught that. Use my bone folder to smooth it out. Wouldn't know. So there's that. So glue's on the reverse side, the colouring's on the reverse side. So this is the embossed side, whereas everything else was put on the debossed side. Now I need to decide whether I'm going to colour these pieces or some of these. I'm not going to sit and colour them all, or whether I want to simply leave them white. I think I will colour. Now I've got my darker blends because that's what I wanted to use, because the as I said, the vellum, because it's opaque, it does take away some of the colour. so things will look a bit lighter. And I think I'm going to use the lighter colours on the cardstock so that it's not too in your face. Mainly like that, so that was Moody Mauve, and that's Moody Mauve, so I'm just going to use this to do that, and the daffodil in the centre. That could be the same colour. I hope you all had a good Christmas and New Year. It's been, well, in our household, it's been more about birthdays than Christmas. My daughter's birthday is Christmas Day, and my mother's is Christmas Eve. So it makes it always an interesting time of the year. And I'm going to do Azure Afternoon on this one, so that corresponds with the colour that was used on these. I don't know if I'll use all of these, although I might use some on the envelope as well. There we go, so that's that one. I'm going to do another one for the envelope. Quickly. So I don't know how you guys are getting on with finally being in the southern part of England. We didn't get hit badly by the snow that a lot of other people have had over the last few days, for which I am very grateful. Although, heaven forbid, there's supposed to be more coming, which I'm not so keen on. So that's that. And then, what else do we have? I'll do a little one. A big one. I'm going as quickly as I can because, as I said, it's nothing worse than watching someone do all the colouring for everything. And this is, as I said, this is the light Moody Mauve. So these ones are actually stamped in Night of Navy. I didn't use Memento, the Tuxedo Black, which is what I would normally use for this. I'm just going to go for it quickly. One leaf. And you will find that the vellum may start sort of curling a bit. But I have found that over time it will just flatten out, so I'm not too bothered about that. So inside my card. I think I'm going to just do that. Oh, and maybe that. Or maybe another flower. So if I'm happy with that, I might do one leaf. Do that in a different colour. Cheers, no good. An old olive. Going to put that in as well. I'm going to put that in there, I think. Okay. Now, I don't know if you saw the last Card A Cuppa, but we were using a striped tile die, which was basically has strips that come out, and used some press and seal. So this was the bit that I had on my card, and I'm just going to use it to put all that in a place that I like. I'm never very good at getting them back in the same place. So if I use the press and seal, I can use it to pick all of these up, can then put some glue on the back of these, and then place them down. And I don't have to worry about fuffing around trying to get them back in the space or the way that I had them originally, because they're still in it. So that's that. So I'm going to put that on here, put that in the corner like that. Press that down and peel this off. So this press and seal, oops, she says, and then she goes and moves it using her fingers. It's good for a few uses. You don't, you know, you once you've cut a piece and you've got it there, you can use it for 2 or 3 things before it sort of starts to lose its. It's not so much. You can't really call it stickiness. It is sticky, but it's not like ridiculously sticky leaf. This time we're going to go old olive. I'm not going to put so many on the front, I don't think. It's on the envelope, I should say. That is my envelope. Got my leaf. A flower. Seeing as I've actually coloured these, I may as well use it. That's fine, I'll do that there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Need an odd number. Get another leaf then. 5. Just use a different colour green. Here, like so. Press and seal. I don't think this is going to be able to be used again after this, but hey. Glue. So, put these back on here. I'll make sure that I've got the flap at the top. I think worse than getting it round the wrong way, you end up having things in the wrong corner. Get that off. Like so, let that dry, and then that will be done. So there's my envelope, there's the inside of my card, there's the front of my card. Now the question is, do I want to put a sentiment on here? If so, what do I want to do? I think I might do a thinking of you, just a simple one. I've just need a scrap of white. Boom, 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 boom. I never saw it. There you go. Where's a bit of white? That's that. I want some Night of Navy ink. There we go, that's that. I could just fussy cut it actually, but I think I might just simply use my trimmer. Let's try and get that so it's just over a centimetre. I think that will be right. Evenish, left and right. Of course I should have just really cut the piece first and then stamped in the centre of it, but that's too easy. Too easy, too obvious. So I'm going to put that on here like that, I think. And I'm going to use some dimensionals for that. So let's do that. Actually, you know what, I'm going to use a strip of this, then I know it's not going to move. A bit more. And as I said, the vellum will actually sort of uncurl itself, especially if you put it in between a few things. I'm going to put that there, like that. Make sure that's vaguely straight. And I've got my little rhinestones that I can add as well. Now I can put them on the dots, or I can put them wherever I want to, really, at the end of the day. I'm going to put, oops, on there. And then maybe on there. Now I'm not going to colour these. I'm going to leave them as they are. And the last one, I'm going to use all 5. There we go. So that is my card for this afternoon. I'm hoping that that hasn't frozen. We shall see. Oh, what's it saying? Oh, no. Seems to be okay. Right, so here we go. So these are the cards. We have, these are the two from this morning. We have that one. Problem is I can't see if you can see these. That's the problem. But hey, we've got that one. And we have this one. So these are the cards. And then I do have that fourth one, which, as I said, is something that I decided that it was a nice idea, but really was not very practical for Card A Cuppa. Right, let me just check to see if you can actually see these. It means I have to stand up. Not really, but hey, I will be putting photos of these up anyway. So hopefully you'll be able to catch up and see them on Facebook, and they'll go up on the blog as well eventually. Okay, so that's it for today. The next Card A Cuppa is in 2 weeks' time, so I will catch up with you then. And then not forgetting that there is Craft and Chats on a Monday afternoon at 4:30 if you want to join us. So hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye.